How did you know about the TV show when you were in Florida?
Okay, so
How did that
the way it happened
transition?
was back in, I believe, 2015, Gas Monkey Garage was doing a Hellcat motor. Now, remember, 2015 is when the Hellcat motor first came out.
Correct.
In fact, the Hellcat motor that Gas Monkey Garage used was in a non-production vehicle. So it was a vehicle that didn't even technically have a VIN. It was an engineering vehicle.
Gotcha.
So essentially what they did was they took that motor out and put it in a 67 Dodge Dart.
Gotcha.
So they couldn't get it running.
Yeah.
So they had another company come out there, and they exhausted efforts. And at the time, Holly had owned us, DiabloSport. So Holly owned DiabloSport, so they naturally contacted Holly and was like, hey, will your Dominator work to run this car? Because TV doesn't wait for nobody.
Right.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
The crazy part about Gas Monkey Garage, and I've learned later on, is that the cars are actually built in 4 weeks or actually built in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you get. You might have some time to finish up some loose ends, but as far as the TV schedule is concerned, you're pedal to the metal and building those cars. So anyway, they contacted Holly looking for a Dominator standalone ECU setup because they could not get that thing to run on a factory ECU.
Yeah.
And no one, the cars just came out.
Right.
It wasn't even available.
Right.
Nothing was available.
Yeah.
In fact, they completely did craziness and ran on E85 and return system pump and all this other crazy, a fuel cell, the whole 9 yards, and they couldn't get it running.
Yeah.
So they called Holly. Well, Holly says, "Nah, we don't have nothing, but we kind of own this tuning company, and Mopar is their thing. So let's get them involved." So they did. They got me and one of the tuner at the time to talk to them, try to figure out a game plan. And I remember a phone call before we actually came here. Me, the marketing guy, and the tuner were on a phone call, and it was a phone call that we weren't really supposed to be involved in, but we were mute the whole time, like we didn't say nothing,
right,
except amongst each other. And it was basically like a whole lot of circle jerk and stuff going on with Mopar, and they were like, "Oh, send the car to us and we'll get it running," kind of deal.
Right.
And they didn't have that time, so they called us out. After that phone call, we were on a flight the next morning, and we got there early, like 9 o'clock. The guys were already hard at work. You know, at the time, things were bad at Gas Monkey, so guys were already hard at work, and we got there and we just rolled in, and that's the first time. That was the first time I was on TV.
Gotcha.
I think. But, you know, like we walked in and they were like, no. Walk back out. We got to mic you up. We got to start all over. So it was a big deal, and it was full production. And something about it, like I was with my coworker. We aren't friends anymore. But I was with my coworker, and he like clammed up in front of the camera. And with me, I was like, well, I can get used to this. So I was like, okay, you know, and it's new, so you're kind of like not scared, but you're
how should I act?
Yeah,
where should I put my hands?
Yeah, you're jittery, you're nervous, and you know, you're like, you don't know anything about it, and so there was like stumbles of voice and everything. But then after the hours passed on, you get comfortable. Whereas my coworker never got comfortable. He'd be like, there's something called OTF. OTF it's called on the fly. It's a kind of like an interview, after action interview. And so after everything was done, they did an OTF, and like they asked a question, and he like drew out the entire answer. And they were like, "Listen, this is TV. We can't have that answer." And I took everything he said and I condensed it into like one sentence. And I remember the producer being like, "Damn, like how'd that work? Like where'd that come from?" He was like, "Shit." No, but anyway, they pulled us out to Gas Monkey, and I had that car running about 6 hours.
That's incredible.
Give or take about 6 hours. Never done it. Now, I knew the computer systems, but I didn't even know what that computer would want in order, and it was the only option. It was factory ECU, or that car is not going down the track.
Right.
And what it was they were going after roadkill guys. So there was a whole roadkill event.
I remember watching that episode.
Yeah, a whole roadkill event, and we actually were going to the Silver Dome, and that was where the race was going to take place.
Yeah.
And so they figured that out, or I figured that out, got them running, and the tuner tuned the car, and with the 85 and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure it was the 85. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was. It might have been pump gas. I don't remember. But we got the car running, and everything fell into place after that for those guys.
Right.
You know,
right.
I was just happy to be there.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, cool. So fast forward a couple years, and Aaron Kaufman left Gas Monkey, which a million people know that.
Yeah.
So he left Gas Monkey, and he needed a wiring guy. And I don't know if I was his first choice or anything like that, but yeah, I ended up being on that show, and it was Shifting Gears with Aaron Kaufman on the Discovery Channel.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tough time.
Was it?
100%.
Yeah.
It was a tough time. I would say that me and my other cast members, Josh Freeman, he's a guy that I still regularly talk to, it's been a while, but I still talk to him. Jeremy Webster, Jason Bowman, these guys were my fellow cast members, and it was a tough time because unfortunately we were lied to get out there, and it sucked. It was hard, it was hot, it was a lot of things that it wasn't supposed to be. Now the premise of the show would have been awesome. Build these cars and test them. Kind of like Monster Garage, and now that's being revived.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be on that show too.
Yeah.
I think I can offer those guys a lot of stuff as well. I applied for it, but shit happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say with that show, the best thing that could have happened was meeting all the people I did.
Sure.
And going to locations. Getting to those locations was not fun, and it ultimately ended my career with that show. But meeting the people and seeing things that I've never seen before.